Namo Adidafa. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body and my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I'm determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I'm aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. For Dharma lessons, we're reading Ajahn Munindo's book, Unexpected Freedom. We're continuing chapter 2 on a section on knowing ourselves. As we settle more comfortably and confidently into making our own right effort, it becomes easier to recognize the various strengths and weaknesses of different styles of practice. In goal-oriented practice, for example, it's probably easier to generate energy. With a clear concept of what you are supposed to be doing, attention narrows, all distractions are excluded, and you focus, focus, focus. By being so exclusive, energy gathers. This way you readily observe yourself progressing along the path. This in turn supports faith. As with everything, there is a shadow side to this, which is directly related to the strength. In being so exclusive, you risk chopping out things that could be useful or need to be addressed. There's a danger of denial. If old neurotic habits of avoidance have not been addressed and you follow a goal seeker's practice, then these tendencies become compounded. This is the origin of fundamentalism. And despite popular belief, there have been and there are now Buddhist fundamentalists. One of the strengths of source-oriented practice is that as we release out of the striving and the aiming for something other than here and now, a balanced, whole body-mind relaxation emerges. And this draws out our creativity. We have to be creative since by not excluding anything, everything must be translated into practice. There's no situation that is not a practice situation. However, unwise creativity can harbor delusion. If we are so happy and relaxed that we are getting lazy or heedless with the precepts, for example, then we need to recognize what is going on. Another danger in source-oriented practice is that when we really do get into a pickle, we could feel disinclined to do anything about it. This tends to happen because we no longer relate to structures in the way we used to. Faith for us is inspired not by a concept of what we hope lies ahead, but by a sense that what we trust in is already essentially true. However, if the clouds of fear and anger overshadow the radiance of our faith, we can tremble badly and possibly even crumble. In this case, it is important that we have already cultivated spiritual friendship, to have the blessing of association with others with whom we share a commitment to conscious relationship is an incomparably precious resource. When we gather in spiritual companionship, a special feeling of relatedness is struck up in which we rightly feel safe. The relative security can be for us what concepts and goals are for the goal-striving spiritual technicians. As we progress in our practice, each of us has the task of checking to see whether we are moving into or out of balance. But how do we assess how things are moving? If we are moving into balance, it means we can handle more situations. We can accommodate states of greater complexity. If we are moving out of balance, it means we can handle fewer and fewer situations. Instead of spiritual practice liberating us and opening us up to life, it makes us exclusive and painfully cut off. So it is wise to examine our practice and see if we can find in which direction we feel we move most easily, which orientation of effort comes most naturally to us, what sort of language works for us. We need to prepare ourselves with the understanding that teachers of these different approaches use different ways of talking. So listen to the teachings you receive. Contemplate that which you read in books, and see which orientation of effort makes sense to you. Once you know, I suggest you go with what inspires you. Hopefully you can see how this contemplation is an important part of our contribution to the shared task of translating practice. May we all feel encouraged to investigate the contribution we are making to this task at this stage in its unfolding in the West. I'm confident that our careful inquiry will show up our weaknesses, individually and collectively, and when we become quietly aware of our deficiencies, we will become more creative. We will be able translators of the practice. Adaptation will happen where it is necessary, and it will be in the service of Dharma. Possibly we won't even notice. We will just know that the spirit of the way is alive within us and that our hearts are more at ease. Thank you very much for your attention. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace. Namo Adida Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.